Looking back at the Audi A3, it used to be one of the most common hot hatches that you would come across on the roads because people loved them and they adored them. With the new updates, I believe it's even hotter, and I think we deserve to see more of these on the road. This is the updated Audi A3 S line, and this video was brought to you by NSL Auto Reviews and Audi Centre Centurion. Let's start off with talking about the exterior and the changes that have been made. This car looks damn good, and let's just leave it at that. I mean, you get a much bigger grille, which looks absolutely amazing, especially with the black styling. It looks really good and it looks really modern. You get Audi's matrix headlights here, which do come with the car, and you can choose it as an option, but I mean, this is the styling that you get in general, and it looks so cool, it looks so modern. You get really big vents, which makes this car look so sporty. I mean, I think if this thing had to come flying past you anywhere, like on the highway or whatever, you had to double look, because you might think that it's an RS3. This Audi A3 S line that we've got with us today specifically comes with Audi sports rims, which are 18-inch on Bridgestone tyres, which these rims you can get on your one, and I really think that you should. But if you want to look at your options, there are a lot more options that you guys can go through as well. I mean, look how sporty that looks. You think this is a sports car, and it works very well. But guys, let's not leave it at that. Let me tell you a little bit about this car and what you can do with it and why I recommend Audi, specifically Audi Centre Centurion. So, the base derivative starts at 622,800 Rand at this point in time. But what's amazing about this car is every Audi A3 can be unique to its owner. So if you go into Audi Centre Centurion and tell them you want an Audi A3, you're going to sit in a beautiful boardroom with them, and you're going to spec this car up to your personal preferences. You're going to choose what seats you want, you're going to choose what material you want, you're going to choose your rims, and the list goes on and on and on. And you can build this car very unique to yourself, which I think is a great aspect to have, because not one car will be same to the other, and you'll have a very special Audi A3 of your own. Even if you're not driving an RS3, this car can't help but make you feel like you're driving a high performance car because of the styling. I mean, you've got such sharp lines flowing all the way through, which look beautiful. I mean, even the side mirrors, they are nice and compact, they look sporty, they look sharp, and really with the side skirts as well, everything looks great in this car. It really looks like a well-built sports car. So you're definitely going to be feeling good while driving this. But let's not forget about the back end. The updated taillights look phenomenal and out of this world. I mean, look how sharp that is. And guys, you must see, especially when these are lit up with those LEDs. If somebody is driving behind you at night and they were to see this, you would think that this is a hypercar, because the styling is just there. It looks so great, it looks so aggressive, and such an appealing styling as well. I mean, if you're going to look for hot hatch, I don't think it gets hotter than this, to be honest. So we know the exterior looks good, and there's been a lot of beautiful changes on the outside, but what about the inside? And let me just say, it's difficult to say which one's better, because the inside is just as flippin' great. I mean, this one is the S-Line package, so we've got the S-Line seats with, you know, your thigh extensions, which are awesome. I mean, they sit so nicely. I mean, you feel like you're in a race car, especially with the S-Line steering wheel here. So I would recommend, if you're looking at a sportier package, go for the S-Line package, because it like all the little subtle details that you get, it really looks good, and you feel like you're in a race car, which is really cool, and I love it. And like I said, you can customize this car as you want it. This one specifically has Audi's Virtual Cockpit, which is amazing. I would also recommend going for that, because ultimately what it does is it brings, like, okay, first of all, you get a lot of customization on your digital cluster in front of you, which is great. But then it also pulls the navigation over to a digital cluster. So while you are driving, you don't have to have your phone here with Waze or with Google Maps, whatever you choose. You don't have to constantly, hey, where am I going? You can just continuously drive, look down, and it works very well. So I really recommend that. Infotainment system is also good, but if you can notice here, the styling changes. It kind of looks like a fighter jet in a way, with the vents up here, which really feels cool. I mean, you feel like you're in a different kind of machine, which is amazing. But let's talk about the infotainment system. It is slightly facing the driver, so this is quite a driver-focused hatchback, which is really nice. You know, everything's easy to reach, everything's easy to touch and control and push and do whatever you want with it. So that's quite awesome. So With the infotainment system, it is touchscreen, but what I like about this car specifically is it doesn't have all your climate control and all of those functions loaded onto the infotainment system, which I think is great, because on other vehicles that you do get that do have that, it can be quite distracting. You know, while you're driving, you think you've got a button, but you don't have a button. Now you start playing through the menu, and guess what? Your eyes are off the road, and you don't really want that. So underneath the infotainment system, you do have physical buttons that you can tap on for your climate control, and it looks really cool. The styling here is very nice, and below that as well, you get some more buttons. This car specifically, we've got drive select, we've got traction control, we've got auto stop start, hazards, park and park assist, and it looks cool. You know, you kind of, like I said, fighter jet. You know, cool, vents, buttons. It's great. It's really such a pleasant place to be. And below all of that, you get 2 USB-C charging points, which means when you do plug your phone in, whether it's Apple or an Android, this car does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you can pop up Waze there if you do like using Waze like myself. But Audi Virtual Cockpit and the navigation system is actually really good, so I actually find myself veering away from Waze, which is great. You do get a push start button, which is great. Adds to the sportiness of this. You get a new compact shifter, which is very cool. And what I like about this, guys, is, and I am going to say this up front, this is the way of the future. It's a much more sleek design. It gives you more space to play around, and I love it. Okay, so what is it like driving a hatchback in 2023? And let me just say, this hatchback is really good. Even though it's on low profile rims, it's actually a very decent and very comfortable drive. So I really give it to Audi for being able to pull that off. It's such a lacquer drive to have, and I really like it. The cabin is quite well insulated. You know, you get a lot of Audi quality. So closing the doors, all of that, you get that nice thud telling you and screaming at you that this is quality. So like I've mentioned, you know, driving this car, you kind of feel like you're in a fighter jet, and it really is true. It looks so cool, especially with the Audi Virtual Cockpit and the way I've got it set up right now. I've got it in like kind of a bit of a sporty mode, which looks really cool, and it really goes with the theme of the car. So let's talk about convenience. This car is super convenient. You've actually got a little knob down here. Well, not a knob, but like a touchpad, a trackpad, whatever you want to call it. And it kind of works like those old school iPods, which is very cool. So you can press it as buttons to put it on and off, skip the track or whatever you want. Or you can swirl your finger around it to increase the volume or decrease the volume. And it works flawlessly. I've never had an issue with it, and I really like it. But if you don't feel like playing around there and feeling like a fancy schmancy pants, all you need to do is control from the steering wheel right over here. I mean, it's got everything that you need there. So guys, we are on a bit of a bumpy road right now, but like I said, even though it's got, you know, low profile tires on, it sits very comfortably and not much road noise at all. It's quite quiet, it's a very comfortable drive, and all in all, it's very good. And I like the armrest that you got here that's adjustable. You don't get many hatchbacks that give you an armrest, so that's quite awesome. And yeah, guys, I would recommend test driving this car yourself. I would recommend going to Audi Center Centurion and talking to one of their service consultants and building one of these cars from scratch for yourself, because you're going to feel really good by doing that. And guys, if you're into hot hatches, like I said, doesn't get hotter than this, and you have Audi Center Centurion to thank for that, and I recommend go checking them out.